Unconditional love, so beautiful, so idealistic. But in a pragmatic world where emotions are easily exchanged like a form of benefit, does such love truly exist? Or is it just a romantic illusion that collapses when faced with harsh reality? Stoicism, the philosophy of reason and self-control, offers a powerful perspective. True love is not dependency or possession. It is a state of inner strength where you love not out of fear of loss or expectations, but because you choose to, with respect, freedom, and maturity. Let's explore the depth of Stoic philosophy on love, because what you once believed about love may not be genuine love after all. If you find this content helpful, please subscribe to the channel and like the video to motivate me to create more new videos. In the turbulent and contradictory world of human relationships, love is often misunderstood as blind emotion or dependence on others. But according to Stoic philosophy, love is neither possession nor impossible expectations. Instead, it is a state of reason, a conscious choice made by a strong mind. Love in Stoicism, reason, not emotion. The Stoics do not deny love, but redefine it from the lens of reason. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, once reminded, "Do not say you have lost a loved one, instead, say you have returned them to life." This statement implies that love is not possession. When you love someone, you should not consider them as your property. True love is the acceptance of them as part of the universe, free, ever-changing, and not belonging to anyone. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, also wrote about love in terms of responsibility and understanding. He believed that love should not be a condition for emotional dependence, but rather an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, compassion, and a deep understanding of human nature. Love is not about receiving. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true love is not based on receiving, but on giving. You do not love someone because you expect them to reciprocate or fulfill your emotional needs. Instead, you love because it is in your nature to love. This does not mean denying emotions, but rather controlling them, ensuring they do not disrupt your balance. Stoic love is an act of free will. When you choose to love, you voluntarily open your heart without demanding or binding the other person to respond similarly. This is the spirit of unconditional love. You love because you choose to, not because you need to. Eliminating possessiveness. In modern society, love is often turned into an implicit contract. If I love you, you must love me back. If I do this for you, you must return the favor. But Stoicism teaches that possessiveness is the root of suffering. When you love someone and try to control them, you will always feel insecure for fear of losing that imagined ownership. On the contrary, if you love by respecting their freedom, you will realize that love does not weaken you, but helps you grow. Love becomes a form of inner strength, where you no longer depend on another's emotions to define your self-worth. Stoic love is not romantic fantasy. Stoic love is not the romance depicted in movies or fairy tales. It is practical, stable, and profound. It requires intellectual and emotional maturity, the willingness to accept others as they are, not as you wish them to be. Let's build a community of kindness by subscribing to Stoicism for Success right now, and sharing it with those you wish to see live with kindness and strength like us. Let's spread these positive values together. In a society increasingly driven by materialism and personal gain, unconditional love seems like a distant concept, even perceived as naive. People find it easy to love when circumstances are favorable, when the other person meets expectations of status, appearance, or the ability to provide a sense of security. Yet when those conditions fade, love often weakens, revealing the underlying pragmatism behind relationships that once seemed sincere. Pragmatism is not inherently negative. After all, we live in a world built on exchange. Effort for money, trust for respect, and sometimes even emotions are measured by tangible benefits. However, when love, the purest and most profound of all feelings, becomes a kind of emotional contract, it loses its true meaning. Loving out of fear of loneliness, seeking acceptance, or for personal benefit are all signs of conditional love. Stoic philosophy does not deny the reality that humans have needs and that those needs can influence relationships. However, Stoicism emphasizes that true love cannot be entirely dictated by external circumstances. Love is a conscious choice of reason, not the result of favorable conditions or immediate benefits. A strong soul loves not because the other person is perfect or capable of meeting all expectations, but because their essence is worthy of being loved, regardless of circumstances. The harsh realities of modern society cannot diminish love, unless you allow them to. The Stoics believe that the only thing you can truly control is your inner self. Unconditional love is an expression of inner freedom. To love someone does not mean surrendering to dependency or emotional harm. It means choosing to love intentionally and wisely, without being controlled by personal gain or expectations of reciprocation. However, unconditional love does not mean blind tolerance. The Stoics did not advocate enduring harmful relationships. True love respects the freedom of both parties, and that sometimes means letting go when a relationship causes you to lose yourself. Marcus Aurelius once emphasized, "Love, but do not let yourself become weak because of love." Love should not be a binding chain, but a force that empowers both you and the person you care for to become better versions of yourselves. Therefore, a pragmatic world cannot diminish love if you understand its true nature. Love is not an exchange, not dependency, and certainly not a tool for gaining something from another person. It is the action of a steady mind, choosing to love not for benefit, but because you are capable of love. In this pragmatic world, true love is not a weakness to be concealed, but a symbol of inner strength, one that cannot be bought or compromised. Love yourself first. Stoic philosophy emphasizes a simple yet profound truth. You cannot fully love someone else if you have not learned to love and respect yourself first. This is not about self-indulgence or selfishness, but the foundation for stability and health in all relationships. The Stoics believe that true love stems from self-mastery. When you understand your self-worth, cultivate virtue, and live by righteous principles, the love you give will no longer be driven by impulsive emotions or personal gratification. Marcus Aurelius once reminded, "If you seek peace from the outside, you will never find it. But if you seek it within yourself, you will never lose it." The same applies to love. If you expect someone else to fill the void within you, you will always feel anxious, dependent, and prone to disappointment. But when you love from a place of emotional and spiritual wholeness, that love becomes stronger and more lasting. Loving yourself in the Stoic sense does not mean indulging in temporary pleasures or fleeting desires. It is an act of discipline, striving to improve, overcoming your weaknesses, and growing continuously. A person who truly loves themselves is someone who dares to face the truth, takes responsibility for their emotions, and does not rely on others for validation. Furthermore, when you love yourself correctly, you no longer seek approval from others or fear losing their affection. Love is no longer rooted in the fear of abandonment or the need for recognition, but becomes a powerful choice. You love because you want to, not because you need to. Stoic love teaches that if you cannot respect yourself, you will struggle to respect others. Begin by building inner strength, nurturing compassion, and maintaining self-discipline. Only then will the love you give be truly unconditional, not driven by the hope of receiving, but because your nature is worthy of giving it. Let's come together to support our community. If you are a kind person, please hit the like button on this video and leave some energetic comments to spread positive vibes. Together, we can make a difference. Focus on what you can control. Stoic philosophy emphasizes a core principle: focus only on what lies within your control. In love, this principle is essential for maintaining inner peace and avoiding unrealistic expectations. The only thing you can truly control is yourself, your emotions, actions, and the way you love. Ironically, many people try to control the uncontrollable, the other person's emotions, thoughts, or behavior. When in love, we often expect others to reciprocate feelings, love us in a certain way, or change according to personal preferences. These expectations inevitably lead to disappointment, as human nature is free and cannot be forced. Epictetus once said, "You cannot control others, but you can always control how you respond to their actions." Applying this to love means, you cannot force someone to love you back, but you can choose to love sincerely without demanding reciprocity. You cannot control your partner's behavior, but you can control how you respond with calmness, understanding, and respect. Focusing on what you can control liberates you from emotional dependency. When you stop expecting someone else to make you happy, you become emotionally independent and can love with clarity and strength. This does not mean indifference or emotional detachment. On the contrary, it is the highest expression of love, loving without possession, without demanding, and without being wounded by things beyond your control. Stoic love teaches that to love is to act on your own principles, not to wait for or manipulate someone else's actions. When you focus on what you can control, sincerity, compassion, and understanding, you will not only love more completely, but also preserve your self-respect in all circumstances. Letting go of possessiveness. One of the most common misconceptions about love is possessiveness, the belief that when we love someone, we have the right to control or own them. Stoic philosophy completely rejects this notion, asserting that true love cannot be tied to attachment or control. Possessiveness arises from the fear of loss. When you view someone as yours, you begin to fear they might leave, betray you, or fail to meet the expectations you've set. This fear drives instinctive reactions, controlling, demanding, and even manipulating the other person to maintain a sense of security. But Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you only truly own what belongs to your mind. Everything external, including people, is temporary. Stoic love emphasizes that people are independent beings and no one belongs to anyone else. The other person is a free individual with their own emotions, thoughts, and choices. True love is not about holding someone tightly or forcing them to stay, but respecting their freedom. Imagine love as tending a flame. You cannot keep the fire burning by smothering it, but by allowing it space to breathe and burn on its own. When you love someone through the Stoic lens, you do not seek to own them, but to accompany them, respecting their personal path and accepting that they may change or even leave. This does not mean indifference or emotional detachment. On the contrary, non-possessive love requires emotional maturity and inner strength. You love because you choose to, not out of fear of losing or the desire to control. Possessiveness not only harms the other person, but also enslaves you. When you let go of the need to control, you free yourself from unnecessary anxieties. Love, in its purest form, becomes peaceful, liberating, and genuine. To love is not to hold on. To love is to appreciate and let the person you love be themselves, limiting unrealistic expectations. One of the primary causes of suffering in love is unrealistic expectations. People often enter relationships hoping their partner will make them happy, always reciprocate their feelings, or even change themselves to fit their preferences. Stoic philosophy argues that such expectations are not only unreasonable but dangerous, as they place your happiness in factors beyond your control. Epictetus once said, "If you wish never to be disappointed, learn to let go of expectations of others." Expectations stem from the desire to control reality, yet the truth is, you cannot control someone else's actions. Others may love you in their own way, not how you expect them to. You cannot expect perfection. Humans are inherently flawed. Expecting someone to always be understanding or meet your standards is unrealistic. You cannot fully control your own emotions. Emotions are instinctive, but how you respond to them is a choice. So how can you love without being hurt by expectations? The Stoics advise, replace expectations with gratitude. Instead of expecting someone to make you happy, find happiness within yourself. Instead of expecting perfection, appreciate their positive qualities while accepting their flaws. Instead of creating idealized scenarios for your relationship, value the present moment as it is. Limiting expectations does not mean abandoning personal standards. Healthy boundaries are still essential. The difference lies in accepting that others have the right to act according to their nature. If their actions conflict with your values, you can walk away without resentment. Stoic love is conscious love, loving without control, without imposing pressure on the other person. When you let go of expectations, you free yourself from emotional suffering while allowing love to grow authentically and naturally. Love because you want to love, not because you expect someone else to make you happy. Knowing when to let go. Letting go in love is one of the most difficult actions, as people are often bound by emotions and the fear of loss. However, Stoic philosophy emphasizes that knowing when to let go is not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of reason and self-respect. Letting go, from a Stoic perspective, does not mean abandoning love or becoming emotionally detached. It is the acceptance of reality that some relationships cannot be sustained if they harm your inner peace and personal dignity. Marcus Aurelius once reminded, "Welcome all changes as a natural part of life, for all things are temporary." In love, clinging to a broken relationship out of fear of loneliness or the obsession with holding on at all costs not only causes suffering, but also diminishes your self-worth. Stoic love teaches that to love is not to endure pain endlessly. A healthy relationship must be built on mutual respect, not blind sacrifice. Knowing when to let go requires facing the truth, even when it is painful. When the relationship harms your values and dignity, when the other person no longer respects you, when love turns into control or dependency. The Stoics remind us that the pain of letting go is temporary, but the suffering from holding on to a harmful relationship can last indefinitely. Leaving a toxic relationship does not mean giving up on love. It means freeing both parties to grow and find happiness in their own way. Letting go is also an act of inner freedom. It shows that you are strong enough to face loss and mature enough to accept that not everyone is meant to stay on your journey. When you dare to let go, you not only respect yourself, but also give the other person space to be who they are, even if that means parting ways. Letting go is not failure. It is the victory of reason, self-respect, and true love. Unconditional love, through the lens of Stoic philosophy, is not blind tolerance or the acceptance of all pain. It is a conscious, rational action guided by reason and respect for both yourself and the other person. A pragmatic world can distort love, reducing it to a mere exchange of benefits rather than a pure connection. But that does not mean genuine love has disappeared. On the contrary, it is in the harshest realities where unconditional love becomes the ultimate expression of inner strength. When you love through Stoic principles, you love from a place of self-mastery, not out of fear or emotional scarcity. Focus on what you can control, loving because you choose to, not to receive something in return. Release possessiveness, respecting the other as an independent individual. Limit expectations, not loving with unrealistic demands. Know when to let go, for love should never cost your dignity. Stoic love is a reflection of emotional maturity and inner freedom. To love is not to fill a void, but to share the natural abundance of a complete soul. When you love with clarity, you are no longer hurt by what lies beyond your control, for you understand that love is something you give, not to possess, but to stay true to your nature. So, love powerfully, freely, and with wisdom, not because the world needs it, but because your soul deserves it. Thank you for watching this video. Let's support our wonderful community by hitting subscribe and turning on notifications right now. Show everyone that you're living kindly by liking the video and sharing your experiences in the comments. Take action now to spread positive energy.